We can.
Is the audio clear?
Yes, the audio is very clear, Swamiji.
Okay.
Yes.
Om. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharyaya Nachiketase cha. Humble prostrations to one and all present here. So in this second Valli of Kathopanishad of the first chapter, till now we have been discussing the two paths, the path of Shreyas and the path of Prayas. So in this Valli, Yamaraj is praising Nachiketa, saying that Nachiketa, you have chosen the path of Shreyas and not the path of Prayas. Vidyabhipsinam Nachiketasam manye natva kama bahavo alolupanta. I have offered you various worldly pleasures, but these pleasures did not tempt you. This itself shows that you are a Vidyarthi, not a Sukharthi. You have chosen the path of Vidya, you have chosen the path of Shreyas, you have chosen the auspicious path. So, Lord Yamaraj is congratulating Nachiketa. Only such a fit student is fit for Upanishad class. This is the meaning. Now, two verses are dedicated to criticizing those who choose the path of prayers. So, how does Lord Yamaraj describe them? Let us see verse number 5, page number 75. Avidyayamantare vartamanaha swayam dhiraha panditam manyamanaha dandramyamanaha pariyanti mudhaha andhenaiva niyamana yathandhaha. So what is the condition of these people who choose the path of prayers? Avidyayam antare vartamanaha. Living in the midst of ignorance in avidya. So they are in the midst of ignorance, but what do they consider themselves? Swayam dhiraha panditam manyamana. They consider themselves as dhira. Dhira means intelligent. Panditam, well versed in the scriptures. They consider themselves to be scholars. They consider that they have studied all scriptures. They know all scriptures. They are intelligent people, matured people, evolved people. This is the opinion about themselves. Dandramyamanaha. But actually, what is their condition? Tandramyamana, totally deluded by various crooked ways. They adopt all kinds of crooked ways while living their life. This is the way they live. Pariyanti mudha. And such people, such unintelligent people, what is their faith? Pariyanti. They go round and round. They wander in samsara. And their condition is yatha andhenaiva niyamana yathandaha. Just like the blind leading the blind. So this is the description of Yamaraj about majority of the people in the society who choose the path of prayers. So they are in the midst of ignorance. They are actually ignorant. They are mudhas, but they consider themselves as dhiras and panditas. This is what you find in the society. So now we have to understand their understanding about life. So what is their opinion about spirituality? According to them, this spiritual knowledge is not needed at all. And what is the logic they give? You will find all these kinds of people in the society, especially when you attend this Gita class, Upanishad class, etc. There will be people who will discourage you. And these are the arguments they give. They give arguments as though they are well learned, they are intelligent, and we are the foolish people who are coming for such classes. So you see the kind of arguments they give. They say there are so many people in this world who don't have this knowledge, who don't go for Gita class, etc. But they are very happy. They are very fulfilled in life. So therefore, what is the need for you to go to such classes? Happiness is possible even without that knowledge. The very fact that so many people are happy without this kind of things, that itself shows that this knowledge is not compulsory. Hmm. This is one argument they give. And generally, another argument is all those spiritual people, they are escapists in life. Some great tragedy happened in their life. They could not succeed in professional field. Their marriage life was a failure. Romantic life was a failure. So therefore, such failures alone take to spirituality. These are the arguments they give. They could not succeed anywhere. So therefore, they took the path of spirituality. Right. And then they argue. The spiritual books say that the whole world is an illusion. What kind of what kind of knowledge is this? How can you say this world as an illusion? So clearly we see it, we experience it, we interact with it, and you say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. The world is an illusion. It is a very pessimistic philosophy. That very interest of living goes away when you say that the world is an illusion. How can anyone have any inspiration for life with such philosophy? So therefore, discard them. This is the way they argue. Right? And another logic they give is whatever they say is superstition. I am a believer of science. I am a rational thinker, logical thinker. Anything which appeals to me in logic, that alone I will believe. Now you say there is God. Prove me where is God. Only that which is proved, I will believe. I am not a superstitious person. I'm a man of logic. I'm a man of reason. I'm a man of science. Science has developed so much. And still, you are believing in all these scriptures which were written thousands and thousands of years back. How can such scriptures which are written so many years back be valid even today? This is the argument they give. So when they argue, it appears they are dhiras and panditas. You see, they take great pride in themselves, in contradicting scriptures. Then they say, you say that there is God. If there is God, why is there so much of suffering in this world? Everywhere there is so much of suffering. If you say there is God and you say that that's a compassionate God, Karuna, Sagar, etc., then why is it people are suffering? Is he blind? Is he not seeing the sufferings of the people? You see? And we people, we don't have any answer. We just blink looking at them. Right? And then they say, self-effort. That is the most important thing. Not this luck and all that. Self-effort. All prayers and all is waste. It's a waste of time. What is needed is self-effort. Put forth effort. And then you can attain anything in this life. Earn lot of wealth. Indulge in all pleasures. This is happiness. I don't believe in Swarga and Naraka, etc. Who has seen Swarga, Naraka? Just one person. Let him come and tell, I have seen Swarga. These are all mere superstitions. Yes, I believe in Swarga and Naraka here. Yes. Right? The person who works hard, earns well. Yes, for him there is Swarga here. A person who is lazy, yes, he creates a Naraka here. I don't believe in some life after death, etc. Everything is here. So while living here and now, eat, drink, and be merry. Be happy. So this is the way these people argue. Okay. So this philosophy is generally called as Charvaka philosophy. So we'll find the next verse also dealing with the same thing. Let us chant the next verse, verse number 6, page number 77. न साम्पराय प्रतिभाति बालम् प्रमाद्यन्तं वित्तमोहेन मूढम् अयं लोकः नास्ति पर इति मानी पुनः पुनः वशम आपद्यते me. Yes. So such people, they may give such philosophies. What do they say? Na samparaya. There is no, life after death. This life itself is everything. Once the body has become ashes, everything is over. Na samparaya. After death, there is no life. All these are meaningless. Now, what do the scriptures talk about them? They are mudhaha, and here the term used is balam. Balam is the term used. Balam means a child. Who is a child? So here we are not talking of purity of the child or innocence of the child. So depending upon the context, the meaning has to be taken. Here these foolish people are called childish. So who is a child? Child is the one who doesn't have the ability to think, the one who doesn't know anything. Childish means no knowledge. And one characteristic of a child is it get attracted by everything superficial. The outward thing alone is seen because it doesn't know anything. So when it gets attracted by some outward, you know, glittery things, it just goes there. And it can be very, very dangerous many times. Small children, if a snake is put in front, or rather snake crawls and comes there, the child will go and catch the snake. It may be a cobra, poisonous snake, but the child will go and catch. It is attractive, it will go and catch. There's an electric socket, there's a hole there. The child will put its finger into that electric socket. No knowledge. Right. There's a pit, the child may go and fall into the pit. There's a rotating fan, it will just put its hand there and create all problems. Right. So these kinds of people who just believe in what they see, they believe only in their sense organs. Such people are called Bala. They have absolutely no knowledge at all. They just believe in their sense organs. There's a higher truth which the sense organs cannot perceive. That they are not able to see. So in the previous word it is said, Andhena niyamanaya tandha. The blind leading the blind. See, I not understanding that is okay. But the worst part is, I don't know, but I don't accept that I don't. Not only that I don't accept, I believe firmly that I know everything. Not only I believe firmly that I know everything, I am ready to lead others also. Now, this is very, very dangerous. Hmm. So you are misleading the entire generation, you see. Andhena niyamanaya. The blind leading the blind. What will happen if the blind is the leader? What will happen to all others? They all will be misled. They all will be doomed for destruction. This is what we see in the society also. The blind people are the leaders. The slaves, those people who are the slaves of their body, mind, and senses, they are the leaders. People who have no idea about all this, they are the leaders. So what will happen to the entire generation? Yes, they will suffer. So what is the kind of life they live? Pramadyantam vittamohena mudham. Pramadyantam, they are ignorant, and vittamohena, extreme greed for vittam. Vittam means wealth. This is the way they live. So what is the purpose of life? Earn as much as possible. Because a person who believes in the senses, that person will come to this conclusion that worldly pleasure is the real happiness. And to get worldly pleasure, you need worldly objects. To get worldly objects, you need worldly wealth. So what is the greatest wealth in this world? It is not the wealth of virtues. It is not the wealth of spiritual knowledge. According to them, it is the worldly wealth which is the most important thing. Because worldly pleasure is real happiness for them. So therefore, vittamohena mudham, completely deluded by the infatuation for wealth. So this is the characteristics of an ignorant person. He gives maximum importance for earning wealth. And you can see in his life, he has no time for prayer. He has no time for meditation. If at all he prays only for wealth only. He might pray, but he will say, Bhagwan, give me more money. Because according to him, wealth will solve all problems. So he'll be praying for wealth only. If at all he prays, he'll be a workaholic person. Such people we see in the society. Or sometimes we also might have gone through, or we are going through such stages. We don't know. Everyone has to go through these stages before evolving spiritually. So what is their understanding? I am lokah, nasti para. This world alone is true. Paraha nasti, there is no higher world. There is no other world. This alone is true. Itimani, this is their firm understanding. And what does Lord Yamaraj say? Punaha punaha vasham apadyate me. What happens to such people? These people again and again they come to my sway. They again and again come to me. Come to me means what? Who is telling this? Lord Death is telling. So they again and again come to my sway means what? They again and again they die. Again and again they are born. Again and again they die. Death means what? Coming to Lord Yamaraj. Punaha punaha vasham apadyate me. They are born only to die. That is the point. They go from death to death. So we all fall into that trap. The people who follow this path of praise, this is what happens to them. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. This is what happens. Right? Now, Yamaraj says, we can't blame them. Why we can't blame? Because this knowledge is such what to do. This knowledge is so rare to obtain, difficult to obtain, that it is only natural that majority of the people, they follow this path of prayers. Now see the next verse, verse number 7, page number 79. Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyah शृण्वन्तोऽपि बहवोऽयं न विद्युः आश्चर्यो वक्ता कुशलोऽस्य लब्धा आश्चर्यो ज्ञाता कुशलानुशिष्टः श्रवणायापि बहुभिः यः न लभ्यः. Even to listen to this knowledge, majority na labhya, it is not available. For the majority of the people, this knowledge is not available at all. Now, this is very true. Even to listen to this knowledge, it is very rare. Why is it rare? So, there is a law in this world. Demand and supply, they go together. Isn't it? If the demand is not there, supply also will not be there. So the supply of this knowledge is less because demand for this knowledge is less. This knowledge is all about turning within. It is not going outside. So people think, what is the use of going within? What is important is we should go out. The source of happiness is outside. Right? The source of happiness is outside. Therefore, I should work outside. I should make changes in the external environment. I don't have to change. The world around me has to change because it is the external world which is giving me happiness. If I'm in a conducive environment, I'll be happy. If I'm in an unconducive environment, I'll be miserable. So therefore, the environment has to change. That is the source of happiness. So everybody is busy working in the outer world. Right? So for such a person, if you give the spiritual knowledge, now what is spiritual knowledge? Spiritual knowledge is all about reforming oneself. He will never understand the value of it. There will not be any demand for spiritual knowledge for such an extroverted person. So since the demand is not there, supply also will not be there. Shravanayapi bahubihi yaha na labhyaha. It is not available. Right. Now you may say, no, Swamiji, in YouTube, almost all Swamijis are there now. You can listen to so much of talks from so many organizations on all topics. Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, everything is there. Who said it is not Labhyaha? It is Labhyaha. That is true, but who will watch? You will always find this. For all silly things, you will have millions of views and followers, etc. But for the most important thing, you will hardly find any views. This is true. So what he said is absolutely true. Even though there is supply, there is no demand. That is a condition today. You can't blame the supply today. Supply is plenty, but see the demand. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it because nobody understands the value of it. I don't know whether I have told you this story. So there was this king who was lost in a forest, and he was thirsty, hungry, tired, exhausted, did not know how to get out of the forest. At that time, he sees a person cutting the wood. He was a woodcutter. So then the king goes to him and asks how to come out of this forest. So this woodcutter, he shows the king the way out. The king could come out. So he was extremely happy. So he wanted to award this woodcutter something. So he gave a big land, full of sandalwood trees to this woodcutter and said, may you be prosperous, rich with this sandalwood. So after 2, 3 months, the king thought, let me see, by now this woodcutter must have become very rich. Let me go and meet him. And he goes there and he finds that the whole land has been cut. In fact, it has been burnt into ashes. And there was a huge pile of charcoal, and the woodcutter was there. So he asked, what did you do? So then the woodcutter said, oh king, charcoal has a very good market. It has a very good price in the market. So I have converted all the sandalwood into charcoal. The fellow who doesn't understand the value of sandalwood, this is what he will do, isn't it? In the same way, we may have a very precious thing, but unless we understand the value of it, it's of no use. Diamond may be given to us, but if the person thinks that it is just a glass piece, then right. So Shravanaya api bahubhiryo na labhya means very many people don't even understand the value of this knowledge. Right. In those times, it might be true. Very few, very rare ashrams were there where you would get the knowledge of these Upanishads. In the public, definitely you will never get all this. In the schools and colleges, definitely you will never get all this. Now, see the next line. Shrunvantaha api bahavo yamna vidyuhu. Fine. Some rare, fortunate ones, they come, they listen to the scriptures. Shrunvantaha api. They listen. But bahavaha yamna vidyuhu. This knowledge is such that even though you listen to it, you don't get it. You are not able to understand. There's a very unique knowledge. You can't popularize this knowledge. That is a unique feature about scriptural knowledge. You can't make it popular. Why you can't make it popular? This is a problem. Even if a person comes, even if a person listens, there is no guarantee that he will understand it. And naturally, since he will not understand, he will have no interest in it also. Why is it so? It is so because this particular knowledge demands certain purity of mind. Not everyone can understand this. The qualification for this knowledge is purity of mind. If the mind is not pure, he will not be attracted to this knowledge. He will not be able to understand also. Because this knowledge is a very subtle knowledge. It is sukshma. And if you have to understand a subtle knowledge, the mind has to be equally sukshma. A gross, extroverted, impure, dull mind can never understand this. Shanmantopi bahavaha yamna vidyuhu. Very many don't even understand in spite of listening to this. Just like only a pure iron piece get attracted to magnet. A rusted iron doesn't get attracted to magnet. In the same way, only a pure mind gets attracted to this knowledge, not the impure minds. So it is but natural that a person who is exposed to this knowledge, he might not show interest in it. Right? Puja Gurudev used to give one beautiful example. He used to say that in the vegetable market, you find thousands of people. But how many people do you find in a jeweler shop? In a jeweler shop, you hardly find 1 or 2%. Why? To purchase a jewelry, something made of gold or diamond, etc., you need to be very rich. To purchase a carrot or a tomato, you see. Mm. So here we are not talking of wealth here. We are talking of this inner wealth of virtues. A pure mind gets automatically attracted to this knowledge. An impure mind gets automatically repelled. There is a disinterest in this knowledge. Many times this happens. When we hear the scriptures, etc., we are so inspired. Oh, such a wonderful knowledge. And then we try to bring our near and dear ones, husband, children. We tell our relatives, oh, this is a very nice class. You please come. There's a Gita class going on, Upanishad class going on. Such nice thing. So many wonderful things are there. And what is the response you get from them? A cold response, isn't it? They have absolutely no interest. Why there is no interest? Here is the reason. Yamaraj himself is saying this. And that too in the Upanishad itself it is said. Everyone cannot get attracted. This knowledge is such. A Mahatma used to say, ये सड़क छाप विद्या नहीं है. It is not a sadak chhap vidya. Every Tom, Dick and Harry shows interest. No, it is not possible. Very, very selected few alone have entry into the kingdom of spirituality. Not every Tom, Dick and Harry can enter. Shanvantopi bahavo yamna vidyuhu. So therefore, Yamraj says, Ascharyo Bhakta Kushalaha Asya Labdha. It's a wonder, Ascharya. It's a wonder to see the teacher of this knowledge, Ascharyo Jnata. And it's a wonder to see the student of this knowledge. It's a great wonder. Wonder means it's a very, very rare thing. The same thing is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvastah. Among thousands and thousands, very rare few people, they turn towards spirituality. Among them also, very rare few people, they truly understand my nature. This is what he said. Yeah. The same thing is reflected here. Yamaraj says it's an ascharya, it's a wonder. To see the teacher, it's a wonder to see the student also. So what is the wonder about the student? The wonder about the student is he is, rejecting what is seen in order to pursue what is unseen. He is seeking God. And what is the nature of God? It is not seen. And what is he giving up? He is giving up the seen world, the seen pleasures, the seen attractions. It's a wonder. See, getting attracted to what is seen, it is natural. But getting attracted to what is unseen, And the whole of the spiritual path is you have to start with faith. You can't see God and then seek God. No, you have to first have faith in God, then see, and then finally you see. So whole path of spirituality is a path of faith. You have to believe and then you start. Whereas the other paths like, you know, engineering, medicine, etc., it's not the faith. You see the results and then you seek the path, which is easy. Suppose you want to study electronics. Yes, there are electronic gadgets which are functioning so well. So you see these gadgets, and that itself is the proof. The efficient functioning of these gadgets itself is the proof that this science of electronics is perfect because you see the results. But in spirituality, without seeing the result, only based on faith, you take the leap. This is Ashcharya. And the student is asked to give up everything. He is supposed to develop vairagya towards the world. You know, have dispassion, give up everything, give up all his likes and dislikes in pursuing something which he has not seen. That is Ashcharya. So this is the Ashcharya related to the student. And remember, majority of the people are following one path. He has to be in the minority. That again is Ashcharya. Following the path which the majority follows, it is natural. But going against the path followed by the majority, it is very rare. You must have that much kind of conviction and clarity. Only then you will go against the flow. That's why it is Ashcharya. Thousands of people, they are pursuing the worldly thing. And here is one person pursuing the spiritual thing. How much of conviction is necessary? Ashcharya. The teacher is Ashcharya. Why the teacher is Ashcharya? Naturally, the teacher has to be Ashcharya, very rare. Because the qualifications necessary for a teacher, what are the two major qualifications necessary? The teacher must be Shrotriya and Brahmanishta. The teacher must have the direct experience of this truth. That is called as Brahmanishta, one who is firmly abiding in Brahman, in that truth. Brahmanishta, and he must be Shrotriya. Not only that, he should have a subjective experience of this reality, he must also be able to communicate in the language of the scriptures. That ability to communicate is also necessary for a teacher. So naturally, it will be rare. Generally, what you find is there are great jnanis who have the experience, but they are not able to teach. They are not able to communicate. And there are others who don't have experience, but they have great oratory skills, but they don't have experience. So here, this combination is absolutely essential. He must have the subjective experience, and also he must have that ability to communicate, to teach. And teaching this subject is very difficult because it's a very, very subtle knowledge. Grosser the knowledge, easier it is to teach. Subtler the knowledge, more difficult it becomes to teach. Right? So therefore, the teacher is also rare, the student is also rare. Ascharyo vakta, kushalaha asya labdha. Kushalaha means efficient. Indeed, that student has to be efficient to gain that knowledge. And the teacher has to be efficient to impart this knowledge to the student. So the glory of the path is mentioned by glorifying the student and the teacher. Now, in the next verse, the teacher's qualification is mentioned. Verse number 8, page number 85. So these are all very famous verses from Kathopanishad. नरेणावरेण प्रोक्त एषः सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः अनन्यप्रोक्ते गतिरत्र नास्ति अणीयान् ह्यतर्क्यमणुप्रमाणात् एषः यदा अवरेण नरेण प्रोक्तः, this knowledge, when it is proktah, spoken by avarena narena, an inferior person, when the scriptural knowledge is given by an inferior person, nahi suvitneyah, it doesn't become clear. Bahudha chintyamanah, it will be thought in various ways. The student will be totally confused. If this knowledge is given by an inferior person, then the student will be totally confused. But ananya prokte, but when this knowledge is given by a person who has become one with that knowledge, not anya, but ananya, not different from it, means who has become one. Ananya prokte, when that teacher who speaks about this knowledge from his own experience because he has become one with it, gatihi atra nasti, there is no other way the student will have to understand. See, of course, assuming that the student is qualified. If the student is fit, kushalaha, if he has a pure mind, and if he listens to such a teacher, what kind of teacher? Not avarena narena, not an inferior person. So the whole teaching is also described here. So what do you mean by inferior person? So see, this scriptural knowledge, if it is given by a person keeping ulterior motives in mind, then the teaching becomes inferior. What is this ulterior motive? If suppose this person is teaching for money, then gone. The purity is lost. If this teaching is given in order to gain name and fame, if the teacher teaches, then again it is with ulterior motive. If the teacher doesn't believe in what he's teaching, then again it is inferior. Many times that also happens. In the universities, professors, they teach Vedanta through Shankara Bhashya. Professors, they teach it. Now, this professor himself says, I don't believe in whatever I teach. I am just giving you the philosophy given by Shankaracharya. He is also teaching Shankara Bhashya only. He is also teaching Upanishad. But he doesn't believe in it. He says, this is Shankara philosophy. That is Madhava philosophy. This is his philosophy. That is her philosophy. This is also called inferior teaching. Narena avarena. Then also he is not going to, you know. But ananya prokti, but a person who is teaching with full conviction that whatever I am teaching is, yes, it is true. And not only it is true, I have total belief in what I am teaching. I am trying to live whatever I am teaching. Now, this is called ananya prokti. He truly believes in what he teaches and he is trying to live what he is teaching. In such a case, Shraddha Bhakti, when this teaching is given, right? With Shraddha Bhakti, when this teaching is given, Gatihi Atra Nasti. Right? Nanarena avarena prokta esha suvitneya bahudha chintyamana. Ananya prokte gatiratra nasti. Aniyan hyatarkyam anupramana. Why is it so difficult to gain this knowledge? So it is said, anupramanat aniyan, because this knowledge is subtler than the subtlest. Because this knowledge is subtler than the subtlest, therefore all these qualifications. The teacher also must be pure. The students also must be pure. In such an environment of purity, in such an environment of devotion, reverence for this knowledge, only then this knowledge transfer will take place. Now just imagine, which is the grossest thing in this world? It is earth, because it has 5 properties: Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. That is earth. Subtler than earth. What is subtler than earth? It is water. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa. Only 4 qualities. So as a thing becomes subtler and subtler, its properties start decreasing one by one. So in pure water, there is no gandha, there is no smell. Subtler than water is fire. It has 3 properties: Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa. You can see it. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa. Rasa is not there in fire. No taste. Gandha is not there. Smell is not there in fire. Subtler than fire, air. Shabda, Sparsha. That's all. Rupa is not there. You can't see air. Subtler than air, it is space, Akasha. Right? Akasha has only Shabda. Other properties are not there. Subtler than Akasha. What is subtler than Akasha? The mind. Mind is subtler. Subtler than the mind. What is subtler than the mind? This self which we are discussing now. Self-knowledge. It is even subtler than the mind. So that is why it is called Aniyan Anupramanat. Subtler than the subtlest. So as a thing becomes subtler and subtler, it becomes more and more difficult to understand it. Right? Now to understand here, Yamaraj says, the way to understand is not tarkam, logic, atarkyam. See the term, atarkyam. Aniyan hi atarkyam anupramana. Tarka cannot be used to know God, to know self. That is not the way. What is tarka? I think that topic we will take up in the next class. That needs a little elaboration. So here the whole point is this: the knowledge is very rare. The seekers of this knowledge is also very rare. It is all because this knowledge demands extreme purity of mind for the seekers. So therefore, it is but natural that this knowledge is pursued by very rare few people in this world. The people who follow the path of Shreyas, they are always rare. So let us wind up here. And if you have any questions, I saw somebody asking some question, so you may ask this question now. We have some time.
Okay, so Urvi, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Namaskar, Swamiji. So, I had this question that, when you told that in order to the qualification of a good teacher is like there should have 2 things. One is that there has to be a subjective experience of the higher, and second is the ability to convey. And then there are so many so many swamis and so many people who have the subjective experience, but they don't have the ability to, so they are not a good teacher. My question was that, so with your deeper sadhana, this ability follows the next, like there is a subjective experience, but the next ability to explain it in a simpler way to others, does that follow along the way? Because I'm trying to understand, like, for example, when we say of, when we talk about bodhisattvas are the one who are not only, or tirthankaras, they are the one who have attained, like they know it subjectively and they are able to give it also. So does that follow along the path, along their sadhana, or there are certain chosen ones? How does it follow in one's own spiritual evolution?
See, if you follow the Guru Parampara, in this Guru Parampara, now whatever we are discussing, this is the knowledge from the Guru Parampara. So the student has gone to the teacher, and the teacher has taught based on the scriptures. So there is a logical thought flow. There is a way to analyze things. And this way to analyze also has come from the scriptures. So when you are taught in this way, when you are blessed by a Guru Parampara, you have listened to the teacher, and teacher is not giving something from his own. He is also referring to the scriptures and giving the logic, etc. So then what happens is you learn the methodology to teach. There is a methodology of teaching. Why I am saying this? Because there are so many Mahatmas who have gained the knowledge not following the Guru Parampara, but their own ways. Some strange ways they have followed, some strange ways. They are genius. In the past birth, maybe they are, on the verge of it. And this time they do what you call, they have not been blessed by any Guru Parampara. They have gained the knowledge through their own sadhana. Now, such a person will not be able to guide a generation. It is true in other fields also. A great mathematician, he is an extreme genius. But just because you are a genius, you cannot be a teacher. See, whenever we talk of a teacher, that teacher must be able to come down to the level of the student and raise him step by step, because the student is not a genius. He needs all the different paths. Like a mathematician, in 2 steps, he can solve the entire mathematical problem. But for the common man, you need all the basic steps, one by one, isn't it? He cannot say, see how I jumped from this step in the same way you also do. It is not possible. So as far as a teacher is concerned, he must have extreme patience in coming down to the level of the student. He is understanding the level of the student because once upon a time he was also there. And now he's taking step by step, the teacher. He goes through the step because he has been blessed by the Guru Parampara. His Guru has taken through those steps. So therefore, he understands the difficulties in every stage. Such a person alone can become a good teacher. You need to have extreme patience also with the student, because he will keep on falling. He will keep on committing mistake, and you must have lots of patience. Only such a person becomes fit teacher. Otherwise, he becomes jnani. That person is a jnani, no doubt. But he's not fit to become a teacher.
Right. So that's what my question is, Swami. So yeah. So one is that, so it has to follow in, as in Guru Parampara. You have to be blessed by the grace of your Guru, and you
Yes.
need to learn the methodology. But
Yes.
Swamiji, we have also seen that in the same, like in a pranth, not everybody is a good teacher. Even though everybody have a single teacher, but not everybody. Probably then it's there to learn the patience, as
You must have
saying.
good communication skill also. There are some jnanis who just remain silent throughout their life. From a silent teacher, what will you learn? He's a jnani, no doubt. But he's with himself, totally secluded, not speaking. And if at all he speaks, some unrelated words come out. So though he is a jnani, he is not able to communicate. So you must have proper communication skill also. That ability to, convey. That ability also must be there. Otherwise, you can't be a good teacher.
So that's my question was, Swamiji, that so not everybody is destined to become a teacher, no?
Correct.
Somebody,
Every
so
jnani cannot become a teacher.
everybody,
Correct.
none can, okay, all right. So that was first question, Swamiji. Second question that, we just kind of saw in this last thing, that as we go from gross to subtle, we go beyond logic, atarkas. We go from tark to atarkas. So this path that we are following is not a part of tarka. It's a path of atarka. That's why not everybody gets it.
This
Is that,
topic I will take next class.
yeah, but am I understanding right, Swamiji? Like, so this path of spirituality is a subtle path.
No, there is tarka involved. Tarka means logical step by step. There is up to a stage you can use logic, but there is a stage where there is no logic.
So how do we understand mind being subtle was my question. So if we are going to do it next time, then of course I'll do it.
Yes.
So yes, thank you, Swamiji.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, Urvi. Vinita ji, आपको पूछना है कुछ? Please पूछिए. Please ask.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, ma'am and Guruji. Beautiful session up to now. This thing is about teaching. Now, often in a day-to-day life, for example, I have got staff who's not that qualified as I had earlier, and I want to teach them better skills, better this thing. And I don't know whether I'm imposing, my vibes are different from theirs, and it's a lot of patience and so on. So should I teach them? I don't know if they're ready, Guruji. And giving knowledge when, am I interfering in the karma? Because maybe they would have done it in some other way. I'm teaching them a better way because that's who I am. And it's selfless. So is it okay to do that? Or how does one deal with this aspect in a day-to-day life? This is my question. Thank you.
Amma, teaching must be given seeing the
Yes.
qualification of the student and the level of the student. If a student is tamasic, then don't give sattvic teaching. You must give the teaching which is to the next level of the student. Yes. A lazy fellow, don't ask him to meditate. Ask him to work hard. That is the teaching you have to give them. So depending upon the level of the student, you have to give the teaching. 5th standard child, don't give 10th standard syllabus.
Okay. I get that. The only thing is that productivity. Again, this demand supply thing. If the productivity of that person, because it's a semi-commercial or whatever it is. So the productivity comes down, and here, because of my vibration, my experience and XYZ, I've already factored it in my mind before I tell the person XYZ. They're not willing because they're not on the same vibe. They're not that motivated. So my productivity comes down, and that frustrates, and I have to deal with that in a separate topic. But as you're rightly saying, I'm able to follow you. Go step by step, and if they're not willing, I mean, it's patience. I think one key word I remember here you saying that patience is one of the big things, and I think the level. So these are the key takeaways I've got from you just now.
Yes, yes. The higher you are, the easier you will be able to manage the lower people.
I see. I see. That's a good one. First time, I never heard this before. I thought frustration and all is part of the job. So it's getting negative energy. But yes, you're right. I think one needs to develop that skill, especially post-lockdown, 3 years. We've all gone through stuff. But thank you. This pearl of wisdom is just too good. I'm making my notes now. Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead. Suman, please ask your question.
I don't have any question. I'm just thankful to Guruji. And today's session was a session that gave me this knowing that to understand this knowledge, first the student and the Guru has to be one. In a space, the Guru and student, when becomes one, this knowledge comes automatically. You are ready to understand this knowledge. Somehow, today's session gave me goosebumps. Still, I am having a lot of sensation in me that we can only get this information or this knowledge from the space of oneness, from the space of trust. A student has the trust on the guru, and the guru has the trust on the student, and the knowledge will just flow. It will flow very smoothly. It will flow like anything, flawless. It will flow. So I am grateful for this movement, for this now movement, for this whole scenario which has been set up to understand this Upanishad. For me, the whole scenario turns out like this, that I'm at present in this space. I'm attending this. I'm really grateful. Just thank you.
Thank you so much. I think you've expressed what we all are feeling. So thank you. नीता जी, आप कुछ पूछना चाहती हैं?
For this wonderful knowledge of today's session. It was really something, it really opened many things, many gates of our minds. So one thing, Guruji, you said that there are people who are escapist. So something happens and then they come to spirituality. So Guruji, there are people who like naturally come to spirituality, but after coming in the spirituality, they actually spirituality, accident or loss, it does happen. So my question is that, Guruji.
See, what happens to you depends on your prarabdha karma. Whether it is loss of wealth, loss of health, etc. It depends upon your karma done in the past, not coming to spirituality. It is like you have sown the seed. Now the seed has to sprout. After sowing the seed, what all you did, it's immaterial. You have sown the seed. Now the seed has to sprout at the right time. In the same way, some karma was done in the past. That karma fructifies as karma phala, as loss of wealth, health, etc. It has nothing to do with you came to spirituality, therefore you are losing something. No. It has
No, not that question, Guruji. I just wanted to know why does it happens then? So you
What happens?
It's a prarabdha.
That is it.
Yeah. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Yes, my dear Anika, go ahead.
Namaste, Guruji. Thank you so much. Wonderful session. It is always a delight to listen to you. Even if you're just reciting, it's just wonderful to listen to you. But from what Neeta was saying, I just wanted to ask that sometimes we need to shift the perspective that what we have actually lost is not a loss at all. So how can we do that? Because a lot of people try to focus on the loss, but then not the gain that we would have.
Correct.
No, so I mean, I like to understand that this is not a waste, but rather a wisdom that we have to learn. How can we shift that perspective?
See all the good things that has come because of that loss. You will always find that every loss, every suffering is a blessing in disguise. The world is designed to, as constructive destruction. There is a constructive destruction in place. So if something in you is destroyed, it is only to construct you. Because there is an omniscient, all-loving, all-compassionate God behind all the functioning of this cosmos. This way one must think. You must try to see the hidden hand of God in everything. Then you will find that, thank God I lost that because today I gained something. You know,
Yes.
a loving mother, when she punishes the child, it is for the good of the child. So try to focus upon that. Why that Lord is taking away this particular thing from me?
Thank you. Thank you, Guruji.
Right.
Thank you, Swamiji. I think it was an enlightening hour that we spent with you, as always. And I'm so happy that everybody's taking things home and, they're listening to Swamiji again and again. We do have people telling me that they go through the talk again. So that's a very, very good thing that everybody's doing, interacting with each other. So great. Who's going to write the notes for today's session?
Ma'am, this is my turn.
Okay, Shakuntala's turn to write the notes. So, and thank you everybody for, I hope all of you are downloading the notes and, storing it so that you can read it later again and again. So Shakuntala, thank you this time for writing the notes. We have Urvi, Niti and Shakuntala who take it upon themselves to write the notes. So it's excellent. And we also have Ratna here who's translating the notes into Hindi, Swamiji. So we have the notes in English and the notes in Hindi. So that's really very good. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, Swamiji, once again. Can we end with your prayer, please?
Yes. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.